Okay, welcome to Team Zoom, you guys. I know we'll have some people still hopping on, and that's okay. But these are recorded so that if you do miss it, you'll have the recording. So welcome to Team Zoom. We do these every single Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So you can always count on them, you guys. And we usually have a guest on. Like tonight we have Krystin. Super excited. Sometimes you just get to hear from me or leaders from my team. But either way, it's always super fun. It's kind of like a little mini team training, which is pretty cool. So we always get tips from the top, whether I have another diamond, double, triple, prez, ambassador sometimes. They're always super fun. And then every single Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern, Mark Pentecost has the family call on his Facebook page. So after Zoom, hop into that and check that out too. But before we get started, very quickly, I want to say welcome to our new people. So we've got Jessica, Chelsea, welcome, Taylor, 3 different Heathers. Welcome to all 3 Heathers. Krystin, Stephanie, Charles, and Caitlin. So that's awesome. Welcome to the team, you guys. I hope that as you're adding people to your team, you're inviting them to stuff like this and helping them plug in, because this is where you get all the good stuff. So now we're just going to hop into it. So Krystin, can you tell us just a little bit about yourself? Your name, your rank. Obviously, we know you're Krystin, but your rank, how long you've been in, and then your story, where you began, and all that good stuff. And I'll just mute myself.
Okay, so yeah, my name's Krystin, obviously. I am from a tiny town in Oklahoma. It is Dibble, Oklahoma, so it's like very, very small. I'm a presidential diamond, and and Ella wants me to tell y'all that we're building a new house, and it's going to be big. So
oh my gosh,
she's very excited about this house.
Yay!
Yeah, we're so fun. She now is convinced that our house is tiny because we're building a new house. So obviously now this house sucks. So
really funny side note off that. Okay, so I have a house on my dream board. So every almost day now, Eric tells me our house sucks. We need a new house, and I'm like, okay, our house doesn't suck. You just saw that I'm dreaming bigger. Stop. Okay, anyway, go ahead. I know, and if she coughs, you guys, she's getting over being sick, so it's all good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna mute myself, cough, and I'll unmute, whatever. But anyway, so April will actually be my 4th year in the business, which is so freaking crazy to me because time just really flies. But I joined this business in 2015. So a little bit of my backstory before I joined was that my husband and I were living in a camper willingly because he was in the oil field. And so we were just kind of like chasing rigs, doing different jobs. He was making really good money. I was working as an insurance agent in the camper. Actually, I went to quit my job, and they were like, how about you just work from there? Like, it's fine. I was like, okay, why not? So I did that. And then we found out I was pregnant. And the more pregnant I was and the further along I was, the more I knew I didn't want to work because I couldn't imagine like leaving her, even though I hadn't had her yet. So it's such like a weird feeling, but I just kind of like had this pull at me that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And that was something I never, ever, ever thought for myself. And Tyson was very encouraging of it. So anyways, that's like a little bit of a backstory. So we were good. Life was good. Well, literally 8 months later, I had her. He was promised a job here. We wanted to move back home to be closer to my family. And boom, that job was no longer a thing. And so here I was. I hadn't had a job for like 3 months. I quit like way before I needed to because I didn't want to do it anymore, and we didn't need it at the time. We spent a lot of money coming back. We moved back, had a baby, and then now Tyson doesn't have a job. So that's kind of like what led me to needing It Works, because it was just so crazy. Like, I always think about if someone would have asked me, 6 to 8 months before, I would have been like, no, like I don't need that. So Tyson worked odd jobs here and there. I was still at home with Ella. We were trying really, really hard for me to stay home. And he was like constantly having to leave to go out of town and do all these things. And it just really sucked. And I was just like, I don't know what I need to do, but I need to do something. And it literally just so happened that Courtney Lavia's who enrolled me, and I just saw on my Instagram this bonus, $1,000 Ruby bonus, and I was like, okay, like I need that. Well, it's $99 to join, and I'm not even kidding you. I was helping Tyson build a I don't know. He builds things. I was helping him with Ella strapped to me, and he got a check from that job, and it was literally like 100, like, I don't know the exact amount, but it was like $180 or something. And I was like, I'm taking that check and I'm joining this business. And he was like, do it. Like, go for it, because we have to do something. And he was like, I feel like you'd be really good at that. And I was like, okay. So I joined, and I literally just was ignorance on fire, but I was just so excited because I was like, gosh, like, if this doesn't work, I'm going back to being an insurance agent, and I do not want that. Like, I don't want to leave her. And like, when we added it up, like finance wise, daycare was the same exact amount as what I was making. So I was actually going to be losing money if you add fuel and food and all of that stuff. So it was very stressful, but I like just got so excited about the business. I started telling everybody about it. I was texting my mom, my sister, my friends. I didn't even know what products we had. I just sent them my link and was like, you need something. Like, and then I would go through and be like, okay, you need this, you need this, you need this. And like, they were excited because I was excited. So I ended up going Emerald in my first 3 weeks. So that was like something that was like, okay, like I went Emerald, and then they announced that there were diamond bonuses the next month. So the next month I went diamond. I just got the chart out. I didn't think about it. I wasn't scared. I was just like, hey, Tyson, like I'm about to earn a $10,000 bonus, because that's what it was at the time, I think. And then I went diamond. And then the next month I got the double chart out, and I was like, I'm getting this $25,000 bonus. And he's like, okay, you do that. And I was like, okay. And so I did. And then the next month I got the triple chart out, and I went triple. So in 4 months I went triple diamond, and I didn't even know what I was doing. So I was just so excited, and I was so goal driven. I was just like, fill the boxes, fill the volume, get the bonus. I didn't overthink it. I didn't get scared. I didn't care what anybody thought, because we were in such a bad place that I needed something to happen. So after I went triple, I didn't get my presidential chart out. I was terrified. I started overthinking everything, and anyways, I eventually got it out like 2 months later, and I was kind of just like, I deserve this. Like, I'm triple. I don't need to get that out yet. You know, like, it's not what you should do. You should just keep working. But anyways, I got my presidential chart out a couple months later, and I went to conference in 2016. So that was my first conference, because I had joined in April before. They had already had conference that year. So I went to conference, and I was like, I'm going presidential. So I went presidential March of 2016. So that is like my like journey, and it has been like so exciting. I've had my rough patches, I've had my ups and downs, but like a lot of people just ask me like how I did it like that. And I think I just honestly, I just did it. I wasn't like, oh no, like what if this happens? What if this person quits? Blah, blah, blah. Like I didn't think about any of that. I just filled the boxes and filled the volume and made it happen.
Wow. Yeah, you just stayed focused. Like you just stayed focused. Yeah. Dude, I did not. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, I just literally got that next chart out. Like, got the chart out, filled the chart. And, you know, whenever I went triple the month, because you got to think, I was a brand new distributor going triple in 4 months, so I needed a lot of volume. I wasn't promoting weak. Like, I always had way more than enough volume to promote. Wow. But my volume, what was I going to say? Oh, so, like, the month that I was going triple, I needed, like, 20-something distributors. And I always tell people, like, I remember the last week I went triple, I needed 13,588 volume in 7 days. And I maybe placed like 300, you know, in orders, but as a team. So like we got to work and that number never scared me. I was just like, all right, like I'm doing it. And I'm getting this freaking bonus. I'm this close now. Like I have to do it. And I just did.
That is like, honestly, one of the craziest stories I've ever heard. I did not know you went triple diamond in 4 months. Like what took me 2.5 years, and I'll be honest with you, it took me 2.5 years because my mind was not right. I was so afraid of, I love that you say you just did it. Like, because I have people on my team going for emerald, diamond, ruby, and they're like, oh my gosh, I need 400 in volume. Like, I'm freaked out. And I'm like, why? Like for what? Like why? So to hear that you needed 13,000 some volume and you just did it. Like you just did it. I love that you had no fear. Like you just did it. So
Yeah.
okay, so like let's start there because I love learning from you. Like I didn't know that you went triple in 4 months. So you obviously had a strong why, which is so important. I feel like when you have that vision, when you have that why, which is basically like you needed it for a reason. So that obviously pushes you even harder. You know, but can you tell us like what were you doing daily for your business? Even like tell us what you were doing, maybe what you were doing with your team. Like what was your daily activity for your business looking like?
So I was at home. Ella was 4 months old at the time, and it was 4 years ago almost. But what I remember doing is just, I don't know. Like I feel like I first of all, when I was new still pretty much the whole time. So I remember like telling everybody about the products. I basically acted like I had already earned this bonus because that's why I joined Courtney. I thought she already earned the bonus. I didn't know she'd only been in 3 days. So I just started doing, because she hadn't earned the bonus, but the way she made it sound, I was like, well, if she can earn $1,000 and so can I. And so she posted in a way that made it, you know, like she was going for that bonus. And so I just kind of did the same thing. Like, I'm getting $1,000 Ruby bonus. Like, who wants to go with me? And people did. And then, you know, when I promoted, they're like, other people that were skeptical are like, okay, now I want to join. And they see me go Emerald and they're like, okay, is this real? And I'm like, yeah. But I just remember like literally, I used 2 of the wraps in my kit. I sold the other 2. But I used 2 of them. I took before and after pictures, and I had already been talking to so many people that I literally just texted that before and after to everyone. And I was like, this is what I've been telling you about. This is what I'm talking about. And now, okay, I love you. I'm like, and now like you can see like what it's doing. And so a lot of people joined because of that, and they like announced BOGO wraps like right after I joined, which was awesome. And then I was organized in the way that I just wrote people down so that I knew who I was trying to follow up with and needing to talk to. And then I don't know, I just remember like I messaged people daily, and you have to think like I also only had like 300 followers on Instagram. So I was working my Facebook and my Instagram, but I was building my Instagram in the meantime. So I'm following 300 to 500 people every single day. It's a little bit different back then. You could follow that many people at once, but now you just have to space it out. But I was like really growing my followers. Back then you also had to post once an hour. So I was posting every hour. I was messaging people. And then I always like just stayed up really late while Ella was sleeping, and I just worked. And I would just sit at my kitchen table. I wasn't like in front of the TV being distracted. Like I was sitting at my kitchen table charting. I stopped like downline activity to make sure everybody knew where everybody was being moved. Like I was like, hey, I saw you sign a customer. That's awesome. I just want to check and see if you know where you're going to place that volume. And they would be like, oh, I didn't know how to move it. Or, oh, I was going to move it over to here. And I'm like, oh, no, actually, like you should move it here because that's going to help you promote faster. So like I feel like staying on top of that, like there weren't very many errors. And I don't feel like I was working 24/7 because I still had a kid and a life and, you know, a husband and everything. So I think I was just like really trying to manage my time and work when I could and just be very intentional with my time as I was doing it.
Yeah, that's like, yeah, that's huge. Most people think, you know, oh my gosh, I have to do this all day long. This sucks. I have to work this all day long if I want to be successful. But really what that looks like is actually sitting down and, like you said, not having like a TV being distracting or people. Like when you sit down and do a power hour or 2, like actually be intentional with that income producing power hour. So you mostly then like, so then you mostly built, I remember actually back up. I remember that too. When in 2016-ish, 17-ish, like I remember Jade Hooper being like, dude, I set alarms. I post every single hour on Instagram. And I was like, oh God, like that's why I didn't, huh?
We did.
I cannot believe that. And now it's like, once a day, right? Like now it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, isn't that insane how much
Yeah,
it,
social media has changed so much
yeah,
in 4 years.
even Facebook. I work, like
Yeah.
I am getting into Instagram, so I'm excited to hear Instagram tips, but I grew my business through parties and Facebook. And so even back then with Facebook, I was like, you guys, 9, noon, 3, 6, and 9. Like that's when I would post. And now I'm like, honestly, like whenever you want, like one time and
Yeah.
post your story a lot. So, okay, I love, and so my point is, yeah, it's just sitting down and being intentional with that work time so that, when I first started this business, I know your baby was so little, so was mine. My kid was a month old. But as I was promoting to double and triple, my kids were older. They were 2 and they were a little older. And so I remember thinking to myself and telling my best friend, I was like, I feel like I'm not giving my kids the time they deserve as a mom. How do I balance this? And it was when I started to realize, like, when you're working your business, you're working your business. When you're with your family, you're with your family. When you're, like, really be intentional with whatever it is that you're doing. So can you tell us, because I'm interested too, like, what does Instagram look like for you? I know that that's a different training, a whole crazy amount of stuff, but when you wake up and you work from your phone, what does working from Instagram look like for you, as far as like how many people you follow, how you do it, how you post, all that good stuff?
Okay, so I wake up and every morning the first thing I do is I make keto coffee. So I just go ahead and I record it on Snapchat, and then there's like a fast forward mode. So every single morning you see me making my coffee on Instagram. And there are some days where nobody messages me, and there's days where people are like, I've been watching you do this for 20 days, and like, what is it? And I'm like, let me tell you. So being consistent, I do that. So I just try to get my story up. Maybe even like if I'm fasting and I'm not drinking my coffee, please don't do that. I'm not drinking my coffee till later, then I might like post a quote or a before and after or something like that on Instagram. I just try to get my story going as soon as possible, because the more your story is going, the more people are going to see it. Just keeps getting bumped to the front. So I try to post on my story like every 2 hours, and that's how I get the most views usually, because you can see like how many people viewed your story, and like I've written it down, I've like tracked it. Pretty much like posting every 2 to 3 hours is what keeps mine up high. Obviously the more people that see your story, the more people who are going to interact. Sorry.
You good.
God, I hate it. So
I
annoying.
know. I was there.
I'm just like my sister's like, why did I bring? I'm like, I know. I'm sorry.
You're okay.
I'm not gonna kill anyone with my germs. I just. But I post all throughout the day. I try to do things that like make people interact. So like I might post something that I'm cooking, but I won't share anything about it. So everybody's like, what is that? What's the recipe? What are you cooking? Because as soon as they're messaging me and I'm responding, I'm the first thing they're going to see on their Instagram feed. So I kind of leave them guessing a little bit just so that they respond. And then, I post once a day. I don't have a specific time. I try to actually keep it here and there. I don't try to do the same exact time every single day. So sometimes I'll do early morning, mid-afternoon, late at night, just anything like that. Every single post I put on Instagram, like I'd say 95% is a business post about the business. I don't like do anything in between really. I follow people pretty much all day. So if I just have a second, I'll follow 20 people. So I usually like Google a boutique in a different state, and then I'll go find that boutique on Instagram, just because I like to Google it first, because I can kind of see like what it looks like and all these things. I don't know. It's easier for me that way. And then I just find it on Instagram, because if I type in boutique on Instagram in a different state, it just pulls up the same ones every time. So I just kind of do that on on Google first. And then I go through and follow everybody who likes the pictures. I try not to follow more than like 30 people at a time. So I do that. And then I try to follow like 200 people a day at least, but it literally takes 2 seconds just to follow 20 people. And then I message people about the products. So I message, 10 people every hour or 20 people every couple hours. I try to send 100 messages a day, or just until I feel like I've accomplished something. So sometimes I don't really keep track. I just feel like, okay, I've messaged a lot of people today, so like I'm good. And then I have a notebook or like a daily planner. And so the planner is one whole day, like on one page. And I write down every single person that responds to me, that I talk to, that we actually like had a conversation, not just that I messaged them. And I follow up with them the very next day. If the conversation ended or they didn't order or whatever, I'm just like, hey girl, I have one more spot for my 40% off discount. Do you want it? And so that's a way that I get a lot of customers, is just by like staying on top of them every single day. Because a lot of times people just get busy. It's not that they're not interested. They just have a life, and their world does not revolve around networks and their products. So they have other things that they're worried about. And so if you just like check in nicely, like they're not going to have a problem with that.
So do you have, I love that you said you actually Google the boutique, because honestly, like, and everything you just said, I'm actually doing with Instagram. I just got into Instagram like 6 months ago, so that makes me feel really good. So,
yeah.
But I love that because I remember a lot of leaders saying like, just look up certain boutiques. I'm like, that's really hard. It gives me the same, like, I don't want to do that anymore. So I love that you Google that.
Yeah, because sometimes I'll be like, Mom and Me boutiques in California, or, couture boutiques in Tennessee, like just different ways to get different ones, because mine are all the most popular ones. And I know that all the same people are following those accounts. So I'm just like trying to find like new, and like, what are the chances that we're all going to Google the same exact thing in the same exact place, Yeah. And the smaller boutiques, I feel like with the less followers are better, because I can I get more follows back. And I always keep my account on private. I don't know if that's I always have it on private. I've been public and I've been private, but anytime I'm public, I feel like I'm just getting a lot of distributors following me and not really getting potential. So that's something that I'm like sticking to forever. I'm never changing it again.
Yep. And that was actually a question someone just asked, and I totally agree. So do you agree with this? Now I'm asking selfishly, like for myself, do you agree that, I had someone tell me, a really great, because I love looking up boutiques. I love how you do that, though. I'm actually going to start doing that. But whenever I get on Instagram, I'll see let's say it's someone that just recently followed me back and their profile is pretty hot. Like they post good pictures, and I'll see them in my newsfeed and I'll see they have like 50 likes. So I'll go through their likes and I'll just 10 people follow. You agree with that? Okay, cool. So that's another way that I like to do it, because and I love how simple you just made Instagram sound, because it is that simple. And it took me a long time to understand how simple it was. And I'm not even going to lie. I'm good with Facebook, not so good with I wasn't so good with Instagram. So, and I agree. I feel like if you keep it private, I love actually being able to approve who gets to follow me, so that when I'm messaging my followers, it's not a bunch of weird stuff.
Well, and I do follow, like you were saying, people that follow you. I just wasn't going to say that, because there's you have to make sure that's not a distributor. If you are going to go and follow somebody else's followers, just make sure you take 2 seconds to look at their page, or at least read their first couple posts, because if you go to my page, you wouldn't know as a distributor, but just by looking at their story or looking at their post, because you don't want to be following their followers. So that's why I didn't say that, because it's kind of some people just click people and follow. So if you do that, because it does work really well, because you have a mutual follower in common, so they're going to be it's going to say this person is following this person too, kind of like Facebook does, like a mutual friend. So they're more willing to follow you. Just make sure that it isn't a distributor.
I like that. And I don't really want a bunch of distributors on my Facebook or my Instagram. So just try not to have, unless it's some of your team. But so now back up a little bit. Why? And you've grown to presidential through Instagram mostly, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, that's insane. I hope y'all are understanding that. Okay, so why? I know why, but I want you to explain why. Why doesn't your Instagram look like your network's distributor?
Well, I don't want to look okay, there's so many distributors, and there's so many distributors that do it all wrong because they don't know better. But if someone goes to your page and they see black and green, and product and product and product after, you know, it's all products, they're going to be like, nope, nope, bye. They're not going to even give you a chance. They will not give you the time of day. Whereas if they go to my profile and they're like, oh, like, she has kids and she likes to do this and she likes to do that and blah, 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 then they're going to follow me without even knowing that I am now talking to them. So they're just going to follow me because it's Instagram and why not? And I'm going to be talking, like, they're going to see my posts and they're going to get interested without even knowing. So, like, that gives me a chance to be able to speak to them. Whereas if I was a walking advertisement on Instagram, they wouldn't even give me the time of day. So, yeah.
And sorry, I couldn't unmute fast enough. Yeah, and see, I just wanted you to explain that because I've come across even people's Facebooks or Instagram where I'm like, girl, that ain't even cute. Like, that's not even cute. Like, I want to follow people on Instagram that I'm like, ooh, her pictures are super clear and good and her makeup looks on fleek. And, like, that's the kind of posts and Instagram that people want to be a part of. They don't want to see you being so salesy. And I agree that, like, you know, that's kind of where your story comes into play is you can post about the keto coffee every single day on your story. And you have people like, okay, enough. What is this all about? I want to be a part of that. And people feel a little more welcome when you're like, your posts are beautiful, even just on Facebook. Like on Facebook, your posts are beautiful. And that makes people interested and intrigued. They're like, I'm going to go stalk you a little bit. So I love that. So I like this question. I'm going to let you answer it. How do you get attention to get your followers if your account is private? Like,
okay, so I feel like that's a good question. I feel like having a good profile picture for one, a clear, cute profile picture, because that's the first thing they're going to look at. A bio that's interesting, tells a little bit about you, but doesn't say anything about it works, doesn't have any links. Like I have my Facebook link on mine, but it's not like Linktree or Shop with Krystin or whatever. So I feel like just your profile picture is huge. And just a little bit of your bio that makes them be like, okay, like she doesn't seem like she's just going to sell me stuff, so I'm going to follow her. And I was going to answer the other question, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you suggest posting every other Insta post, one product or one or result, then one personal? I post I might do like a keto coffee like once a month, but every single post that I put on my timeline is my business. And I don't message for distributors. Distributors come to me through my posts usually. So that's something that I'm very consistent with is I tell my story like a broken record every single day on Instagram. I just try to change it up here and there. And then I use my stories for before and afters and product posts. And also like I do sign distributors off of my story too, but I don't really ever post about the products on my actual timeline. Unless it's like keto coffee and I'm just holding a coffee cup, but then I usually talk about how I love my keto coffee and transform it into a business post still. So I'm not just like posting about the products only on my timeline. There are sometimes like when I really need a lot of volume, I'll do a before and after at night and I'll post like, hey, who's looking for a cleanse? And it's about the cleanse and it's a cleanse before and after. And then I just delete it the next morning. But I do get a lot of customers doing that whenever I do. I don't do it as consistently as I should, but it is something that works. And then I just delete it the next morning or archive it or whatever, just to keep it off of my feed.
Yes to all of that. Like back up to the whole why people follow you back. Yes, if your profile picture and your bio just seems cool, people are like a lot more forgiving on Instagram. They're not like, who are you? Like on Facebook, people might be like, do I know you? On Instagram, they're like, your bio's cool, your profile picture's cute. Like, yes, you're in. So absolutely. And I'm going to answer this really quick because I just had a really great experience with this. Melinda said, would you recommend using the same exact post on Facebook? Yeah. You're like my Facebook and my Instagram posts match. They're the same thing. And now that Facebook has kind of done the same kind of thing, I just post once on Facebook a day or maybe twice. But yeah, like I've noticed that the more that you just tell your story, I love that you said you tell it on a broken record. You can literally, like I find a different way to tell my story every day. And people with a different picture of my kids or of me. People like that. They want to know why you're so happy. They want to know why you live the life you live. I had a girl message me last night, and all her message said was, why did you used to work 60 hours a week and now you don't have to? And I'm like, well, let's talk about it. You don't need to be a salesperson. You just need to share your story. Whatever way that looks, just share your story. That's what God put you here to do. He wants you to share your ups, your downs, your battles, your hurdles, and then inspire. So I love that question, but yes, the answer is yes. So at Krystin, hold on, let's see, any other questions? Great question. Yes. What is your Instagram? Oh, I don't know if she's like an Instagram peeps follower, but,
no, it's okay.
She typed it.
Yeah, I just don't know. That's fine.
Awesome. Then I'm totally looking you up too. Okay. So, let's see. I just feel like I could talk about Instagram all day because it's so exciting. Does anybody have any other Instagram questions before we move on? Because I know that it is becoming, it's already here. Like some of my very close friends are Morgan Martin, Katie Bevington, and I love that they are making over $20,000 a month. And they've only built this through Instagram. That's it. So I love that we've become something where we can just make money off of literally social media. And I love that because I have 2 kids. I want to be with them like as much as possible. So
and something like a tip for Instagram, I would say, is like you do want good pictures. And I know it's hard. Like you don't have a photographer following you around 24/7. So something that me and Courtney do, if you have somebody that lives close to you, or if you want to train your husband or your boyfriend or your child, whatever you need to do, like me and Courtney will get together like once a week and we will bring 2 or 3 different outfits and we'll take all these pictures. And then we have pictures, like if we do that every week for a month, we have pictures for like 3 months. And we just take them in different ways with different outfits. And so then I just save them in a folder on my phone, like January pics. And I just edit them as I go and like use those pictures because it's so helpful, because I don't look good every day. I literally look like a homeless person most of the time. So it's nice for me to, and I don't have like right now, I don't have like this cute house where I can just like be like, oh, look at how cute my house is and like this good lighting. Like, no, I don't have that. So I go and like take pictures, and sometimes I make my husband do it and he's not happy, or I'll be like, Ella, I just need you to push this button. Just push the button and like do a good job, And so she's like, okay, so do whatever you have to do. The other day I propped my phone against our grill and like the sky looked really pretty. So I just like leaned forward and laughed and like, bam, there was my picture. Like it was just so simple. And I just put the timer on my phone and like, there it was. So yes.
I love that. I love that we get to make money doing crazy things like that. Like I went to this place. I don't know if you guys have heard of it or if you have one. I think it's kind of new. I love the Garage at Rivertown Mall. It's a store. It's called the Garage. I bought, because this is what I look like all the time. I'm always wearing a gray hoodie and leggings. And when people see me at church, they're probably like, you are fake. Like you don't look like you do on it. But really, sometimes I do. But I went to the Garage and I bought this super cute sweater crop top with these super cute sweatpants. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be the best picture ever. Who am I going to have take this though? Like, who is going to do this? Joe, you're going to have to nail it. Like, this outfit is going to get so many likes. So, it's so funny that like that is a thing, y'all. So these are such gold tips. Hold on. Allegra, we are together. Oh, why have we not done this already? Yes, Taylor, get your life. Take some pictures. Get cute. $8 phone. Yes, I have a tripod too, but I've propped it against my fence. I've propped it against things. Hang it on the block. Okay, now people are just being funny. Okay, so do you have any other like really awesome Instagram tips that you feel like you've given like so many awesome ones, and I love that this is how you've made it to presidential. So do you have any other like just Instagram tips? Because I have one more question for you if you don't, or whatever.
Let me think. I feel like just sharing your life and like being excited. And I also share like, my God, like my kids are freaking psychos. Like, I'm about to pull my hair out. Like, be real too. Like, if you follow Jade Hooper, she's real all the time. And I'm not like, I can't be that real all the time, but like, I do throw it in there here and there just so people can relate to me in a different way. I also feel like telling your story, like doing a video on your Instagram story about why you joined, it doesn't have to be long. But people hearing you talk, for some reason, they will flood my inbox because I don't know, I just made a video and I like tell my story and I tell it in different ways. Like at one time I was a waitress, so like I'll throw that in there. Another time I was an insurance agent, I'll throw that in there. Being a stay-at-home mom, because not everybody that follows me is a mom. I didn't do this in college, but I talk about how amazing would it have been to be in college and do this. So I just like tell my story through a video. I try to do that once a day if possible. Snapchat filters save my life. So I try to do that. And then every single time I do, like, it never feels that somebody's like, okay, like, tell me more. Because it's just something about them hearing your voice and, like, you telling it in a different way. Because they may not read your post, you know. They may kind of skim through it. But, like, them hearing you talk just helps somehow. So do that. But, yeah, that's, like, one of the biggest things.
I feel like it's because we are now people's reality TV. Like,
Yeah.
people are like, oh my gosh, she's real. That post of her being really, really pretty and cute, like that was awesome. But I actually just heard her talk about it. And I don't know, it makes people feel a little more, I think, close to you. And like you can relate more. And I could not agree. Like, I've said this for 5 years, but be you 110%. I mean, I'm a funny person. So like, my posts are kind of like, sometimes they're like inappropriate, but I try to make people laugh through my posts. And sometimes I drop the F word, the F bomb, like, you know, people just be you, like be 100% you, share your life. Yes, my kids are driving me crazy. Okay, post about that. Make someone else be like, you know what? Okay, me too. I'm not in this alone. So I love that. Yeah, be 100% authentically you, boo, and don't be sorry about it.
Yeah.
So those were really good. Do you have anything else?
I was just going to say, sometimes I even am like, oh, I don't want to do this video. People aren't going to listen to me talk for 6 slides. But then you go follow a blogger and literally they have 800 slides of that one day talking. And I'm like, people listen to them. So why would they not listen to me? So just do it. It doesn't have to be long. Like I said, like it'll be 15 seconds in each slide. Like just get your point out. And sometimes I'm just like stupid and I leave my bloopers and I'm just like, you know, whatever, like I've done this video 50 times, but here we go. So people always message me too. They're just like, oh my God, like, why are you, you know, so funny? And like, it just gets people watching you and knowing your personality. And they may have never even considered this business until they just watch that video and they're like, well, what do you do? When they start looking at your profile. This girl the other day was like, after I had actually done the video, and she messaged me and she was like, okay, so I just stalked your Instagram because I watched your video, and what do you do? Like, she's like, all of your posts are talking about blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, let me tell you. So do you make a video, then cut it, or do you just go live? Personally, like I said, I like Snapchat filters. So I just make it. So supposedly Instagram updated and you can just upload your video. It's not for me.
I
That
know.
doesn't happen for me. So I use Cut Story. It's an app called Cut Story. You just upload the video, click save, and you can click Instagram as an option, and it'll put everything into 15 seconds because it's how long Instagram's time frame is. So I do that, and every time someone's like, did you know you don't have to use Cut Story anymore? And I'm like, yeah, but I do. Like, I yelled at Jade the other day. I was like, Jade, shut up. I swear to God, if someone tells you that one more time. She's like, people have told you that? I'm sorry. Yes. So you can use Cut Story. It's okay. It works.
I love Cut Story. I'll never not use Cut Story. And you're making
like, it's so easy. Like, my Instagram doesn't work like y'all, so leave me alone.
I just like it. And mine does show me the option. I'm like, no, I'm still using Cut Story. I like Cut Story. So I don't trust Instagram to do it for me. So someone said, Jade keeps asking, so do you like, hold on. Okay, so do you make your your posts, are they mostly short and sweet or long? You can answer that real quick.
I do a little bit of both. If I do it long, I just break it up into paragraphs so it's easier to read. Usually mine, I feel like, are pretty long. Like they're at least 2 little paragraphs.
Yep.
So I just get my point across usually in the first one, and then I kind of talk about why you should join and how to contact me in the second one. Like, you know, if you're tired of doing this, if you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck, then text biz to my phone number, blah, blah, blah. And I always like start out my posts with like what I'm doing right then. So like this morning or today I was like, church, McAllister's, and Target makes for a perfect Sunday. And then I do like 2 little slashes, and then I talk about the business. Like I noticed that bloggers do that, and it actually made me read their posts. And so I just started doing it too, because it kind of gets people's attention right at the beginning, and then they continue to read what you're putting out there.
Man, that's good. I feel like you're making me feel so good. I used to hear people talk about Instagram and I'm like, oh my God, I suck. And now I'm like, okay, all right, I'm learning. It took me a good year, but I'm learning. And I feel like I'm doing all the right things. So I can't wait for my team to start really like doing all the right things consistently over time. So my last question, because I know y'all can ask questions all day and we could be here all day. So I'm not gonna, but like, my last question then is, okay, you're doing all the stuff, you're posting your story, you're posting once a day, you're making really great posts, you're doing polls, you're doing stuff like, hey, what am I cooking? Ask me questions. Okay, that's awesome. You're following up to 100 to 200 people a day. Awesome. How many people do you reach out to in message every single day? Oh, you said that. You said that. You
yeah,
said
100. Yeah.
You said that. Nope, you said that. I'm an idiot. Okay, so and your messaging, that's my bad. So your messaging, I love that, like, a lot of people like to complicate it. They're like, okay, once an hour, I have to message this. No, just like message people throughout the day. And I love that because I'm the same. I'm like, all right, I messaged a lot. Cool, I did. I feel proud of that. So I love that. My bad. You did say all that. So
well, and you can, I don't know if you know this. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go. I'm done.
Okay. Yep. You can unsend and resend messages on Instagram. Okay, if y'all didn't know that, it's amazing. So earlier, like I was sitting on the couch, we were watching TV, and I just scrolled, I don't know how far, as far back as I could on my followers, and I just unsent and resent. So that doesn't give you like a limit to get blocked. So I sent like 50 in like 10 minutes. And it's people who never even either saw my message or responded. So I just unsend, and then I send them a new message, and you can't get blocked doing that. So if I don't get blocked as often as I used to, but used to when I get blocked, I just go and do that. And because there's like no limit on it, because it's like you've already actually messaged that person. So it's not like you're messaging new people, if that makes sense.
Wow, that's like a tip I've never ever heard. That's a good one, because I love that you can do that. That's awesome. And like, last question about Instagram, and then I'm gonna ask you something completely different. So what does a message look like to your Instagram followers? Like a rough outline.
Basically just like giving them a compliment. Hey girl, I just came across your profile, you're so cute. Would you be willing to be a product tester for me? I need one more product tester. Would you be interested in more info or something? Like just very simple. Give them a compliment. Everybody loves compliments. Ask a question at the end, and then bam. And people are going to ignore you. People are going to say no. Whatever, who cares? The more, this is a numbers game, the more messages you are sending, the more people you're talking to, the more responses and yeses that you're going to get.
Yeah.
So I always think like every no is one step closer to getting a yes. Like not everybody's going to be like, yes, give me it right now. I want it now. Like that's just not realistic. So I'm sorry if that's your expectation. So just message with intent and know that people I always talk about like Jade, like she messaged for like 60 days and didn't get a reply. And then literally like day 61, she had like 40 messages in her inbox. And it just shows you that if you're being consistent and you're planting those seeds, eventually you will reap what you sow.
Yep. And that's how I went double. I was like, for 2 months, I was like, no one's freaking getting back to me. No one for 2 months. I'm like, really, seriously, like, what is going on? And then that next month started, and I was like, where did all these people come from? Like, all of a sudden, I was like, Courtney, I told my upline, I'm like, Courtney, it is happening this month. Like, I can feel it. I know what people are. Yeah, it's crazy what consistency does over time. So you guys are all under Jade Hooper.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. Fun fact. Okay, cool. I didn't know that. So, man, she's got a lot of rock stars. Okay, so now
Yeah.
I want to ask you something completely different since it is 9:47. So, and we'll end it at this. Now we've talked about how you work Instagram, how you sign up people, and what you message and what you do. Now, last question for the night is very quickly, like when you get a new distributor started, what do? How do you train your newbies? And you can keep it simple if you want, and tell me like a gist of it, but I'm sure the team would love to know like what you do with your newbies.
Okay, so I have like a kind of like a step-by-step system. So, well, now that they're the newbie training videos come in their email, that's really cool. So I didn't even know that. I guess I missed that whole thing at conference, but one of my distributors was like, am I supposed to watch these videos? And I'm like, yeah, I watch all of them. I don't know what videos you're talking about. But then, so now I have them get their email, fill out their tax info, you know, all that stuff, watch the videos. I always have them make a dirt list, which is like if you were selling dirt, who would buy it from you? And so put those people on a list and have them message all those people. I just send them like a little message. Okay, you can have one. Just send them so I bought these today because Ella was like, all the kids have those in their lunches, but not me. And I don't even know. I think it's cheese. I'm like,
poor girl. Yes.
It's not even fair. Okay. Okay. So anyways, I have them make the dirt list, reach out to them. And a lot of times with friends and family, I'm just like, send them your link and let them shop around because sometimes they'll buy everything, you know, instead of like limiting them to one thing. I help them make their first post right off the bat. And then pretty much from there, I send them leaders to follow, like within our team of who to follow and like watch. You know, I tell them like we post every day, we message. Cool. I highly, highly, highly encourage them to send me screenshots of all their conversations so that I can help them because you don't know how to talk to people when you just started. And I know how to seal the deal. So send me screenshots. It's not annoying. It's actually like what I want you to do. So send me the screenshots and I'll help you respond. And that always helps them like learn how to talk to people. Like this. Oh, cool. Learn how to talk to people and then also like helps them seal the deal a lot faster. And then I check in with them every single day. So now that Connect has groups, that makes it a lot easier. So I just put my distributors into February DT's big group on Connect. And then I just message them every single morning or every single night. And something I do too is like, I'm not like, what have you done today? Like, did you post? You know, because they're going to be like, oh crap, no, I didn't. Like, I actually got this from Cheyenne Knox, and she was like, hey girl, have you posted today? Like, if not, then let me help you make a post. And that has been like really helping too, because they're like, no, but yes, please help me. Or have you sent any messages today? If not, like, let me show you what to do. And then I always check their Instagrams to make sure they're not like a walking advertisement. If they are, I send them like, here's what your profile should look like. Here's what your profile shouldn't look like. And then I just explain why. And I'm like, I always just say like, hey girl, can I give you some advice? And they're always like, yeah. And so I'm like, okay, you know, and I just help them with their Instagram and like explain to them why. So they're not like just thinking, I'm like, oh, your Instagram's ugly. What are you doing? You know? So you just have to know that every single leader that you enroll or every single person that you enroll learns differently, and you'll figure that out. If you know the killer personalities, you'll figure out who's green, who's red, who's yellow really quick. And that helps me lead them better because I'm red and yellow. So I know how, you know, you'll know who's green. That's like a given. You'll know that the first day. But just you'll know like how to talk to them because I'm not green at all. I'm like 0% green. So when someone's like, how does the compensation plan work? How does this work? I just send them the file and they read it and they're happy instead of me being like, I don't know, Google it. Like, you know, so you just have to know like how to help each leader, or I just keep saying leaders, each distributor in their own way. And then I just kind of check in with them every day so that they kind of get the hang. I always tell them they can screenshot my stories on Instagram. Because if you hold down your finger and screenshot, it takes the name off. So I always let them like screenshot anything that I post. I always give them the option to copy my post because that's how I learned when I started. I copied everything that Courtney Lavie and Courtney Bohr were doing. So obviously that worked for me.
Perfect.
Jade sealing the deal video was like a huge thing. That was like a turning point for me signing customers. Like I swear I was talking to so many people and I wasn't signing anyone, and I watched that video. It's on YouTube. It's called Sealing the Deal with Jade Hooper. And I watched it and I changed what I was doing that day, and I signed 14 customers in a day. I'm not even joking. So it's a huge game changer to know how to talk to people. So I was doing it, literally everything she said not to do is what I was doing. So watching that video like helped me so much. Can you stop doing that, please?
She's
really quick.
Huh?
I was gonna let her say hi.
Oh yeah. Hi. What is she for?
Yeah.
4? Okay. I was trying to do the math. She's so good. My son would be like blah 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 blah. Like Lucy would probably
she
be good.
normally is. I threatened her with her life before the Zoom, so
She's being
normally
so
she would be very crazy, but she's doing good today.
Eric's usually like, so yeah, I have to put him to bed. Yes, sealing the deal with Jade Hooper. Someone just wrote that. And honestly, like I love that you, first of all, I love how simple you've made everything seem, because it is. You've made Instagram seem simple. You've made reaching out seem simple, because it is. You've made even distributor training. You just made it so simple for everyone. And I love simple. I don't like when people get crazy and they're like, I'm gonna do this and this and this and this. You just made everything seem so easy. You just made everything seem so easy. And if everybody just keeps it that way, have fun, keep it simple, like you'll be successful. And I took a lot of notes from my phone. Like I love that. So and I just posted kind of what you do in a tidbit in the comments. But also one of my biggest things that I learned from you, and I hope everybody else notices too, is that you were like, I was doing everything wrong, so I watched your video. Or I wasn't sealing the deal, so I watched your video. Then you were willing to be like, instead of like, oh, this isn't working, I'm done. You were like, well, let me learn like what I'm doing wrong and maybe take tips from the top and like see what I can change. I love that. You have to be willing in this business to learn even when you failed forward. Like fail forward. Don't just fail. Like fail forward, get back up, try it again until you realize what works for you, because I've had to do that. I can't tell you how many times. And it pays off. It pays off big time. I'd rather be learning how to do this correctly than going back to a factory and working 60 hours a week where I hate my life. So it's like, what are you willing to do to be successful? Maybe that's.
Yes, I know we're almost out of time, but I have one more. You just reminded me of one more.
No, I don't care. Yes, go.
Okay. I don't care either, but I don't know if y'all have to be off by a certain time. But I literally, I try to figure out like what works best for me. And I swear, y'all, for an entire year, I freaking screenshotted other people's posts, or not posts, their stories, and try to do what they were doing. And then I realized like, okay, obviously like I'm not signing as many people as I was off my stories. So I'm going to go back to what I used to do, what was working for me. And literally that day I signed 3 distributors off my freaking story because I went back to what worked for me. Because things that work for like Alyssa Billieu, for example, aren't going to work for me because I have a different audience. I have a different life. I'm not a blogger. Like I don't have that type of following. It just didn't work for me. That's not even the person I was talking about. But just like if you're doing something over and over and over again, it's working for somebody else, it's not working for you, then you need to figure out like what does work for you, because you will find something, but it just may not be that exact thing.
Yeah. And I know this is like getting way out there, but like God did not create you to be that person anyway. So just how about you don't? Like literally you are supposed to be you, and he wants you to share you with other people because you'll attract the right people that he has planned for you by doing that. So like just be you. It's okay.
Yes.
So yeah, this was really, really good. And we appreciate your time. I know this is perfect. We're coming up on an hour, so this is perfect. Do you have anything, I know, I'm like proud of this. So do you have anything that you want to just like end us with at all?
I didn't ever mention personal development.
I was going to ask. Yes, go.
And to be honest, like in the beginning, no. Whenever I first started, for some reason didn't need it. I don't know if it's because I did not need it, but I didn't need it in my business. But I think maybe because I didn't. Yes, can you be quiet for 5 more seconds? Because I didn't know about it, so I was just in that mindset of like, I have to make things happen. And I just told myself the answer to all of this. I didn't know anybody in this business. I knew myself. I knew Courtney Lavie. I knew Courtney Bohr. That is all. So I was not comparing to this person, comparing to this person, that person. I was doing what my leaders were telling me to do, and I was staying in my own lane. I was never distracted by anybody else because I didn't even know who existed in this business other than us three. So that's the biggest thing. I was not comparing myself. Well, then you get into the business more and you start following all these different leaders, and you have all these different people who are all different and have different stories, and you start comparing yourself. And I think that if you are in a place where you feel like you can't do this or your why isn't big enough or whatever, you just have to do personal development, even if it's looking up YouTube videos every morning and listening to those while you brush your teeth or get ready. There's so many good ones on there. Finding a book. I do Audible a lot, so I just listen to it in my car anytime I'm in my car. So doing things like that I think helps so much. And just staying in your own lane. That was like the biggest thing I think when I was new. I was like, I didn't even know who Jade was. Like, she was my upline. I didn't even know. I just knew Courtney Bohr, Courtney Lavie, and that was it, and my team. So I didn't have any time to focus on, like, I didn't know that going triple that fast was a big deal because I didn't know anybody else. I was just like, I'm doing this. And they're like, okay. And Jade finally reached out to me and Courtney Lavie, and she was like, y'all are crazy. What are you doing? And we're like, I don't know. I just printed out the next chart. Like, we were just making it so simple because it is. And we weren't overthinking it. Filling boxes, filling volume, promoting. That's what we were doing. And we were being consistent with our business. So if you're not, then be consistent and just get the next chart out always.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. I always tell my team, like, if you don't, they'll be like, I'm so excited to go Ruby. Now what? And I'm like, well, let me see your chart. And they're like, wait, what? And I'm like, wait. Like, get a chart out so you know exactly what you need to do. That's inspired. I like failed high school, but I love charting. I love charting. I could chart. I do. Like, I could chart a ruby in 1 minute. I could chart an emerald in 2 minutes. Like, give me your chart and I'll tell you exactly what you need. And it's more exciting when you know, like, this is exactly what I need. Get it done. Like, go get it done. So I agree with that. And this business is 80% mindset and 20% skills. So I was going to ask you about personal development, but I was like, and then I forgot. And it is literally the most important part of this business. I was too good for personal growth, just like I was too good for God when I started this business. And that made me go down a little bit, go down a downward spiral. And it was when I realized that even 10 minutes a day of filling your own brain with amazing stuff, like you can do it stuff, or God, like I love getting to my Bible or listening to a podcast. Yeah, like you said, filling your brain. This world is a crazy place. Once I step out of my door, I go into a world of people that kind of suck sometimes. So it's having, that safe space, which I call personal development. I love it. It fills you up. So take 10 minutes to an hour every day to plug into you, because you matter. That is important. So important. Yes. Just like getting a pedicure every once in a while, like self-care, personal growth, like all that stuff is important. So very, 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 I love all of this. All of it. This was so good.
Awesome.
This was so good.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
And you're so chill, but it was one of the best Zooms I've had. Like, you're so chill, but this was so good. Like, you're not loud and obnoxious like me, but it was still so good. Like, I love this. I can't wait to have people watch the recording. So, do you have anything else?
I think that's it. Just get the freaking chart out. Do the freaking thing. Don't overthink it. There is no number that is impossible right now. We still have I don't know, I'm bad at math, some days left. And it doesn't matter how many days are left. Like, you can make your promotion happen. So if you're 400 for Ruby, get that freaking emerald shirt out. Like, go emerald, you know? Like, just do it. So
yes. We have 11. I just had to count. We have 11 days. 11.
So much time.
Yes, like 11 days. Get it done. I just tell me, I'm always like, just get it done. Like, quit. Just get it done. Like, it is not complicated. Girl, go talk to this many people. You'll sign a customer distributor today. Get it done. Right?
Codes.
Huh?
You could go with codes, especially, like, you could go Ruby in 3 days if you really wanted to. Like, you could literally.
It's stupid. It's like, instead of taking the time to doubt and wonder and worry, just like go do the things. Like, take action, and all that'll just go away. Like, literally, the doubt, the everything, it'll just like go away. That's what I did. When I would feel fearful of our situation and stuff, I would just take action, and then it all went away. And I went diamond. So like, that was worth it. But you know, you have codes, you have new charting, you have this. You have that, like, get it done. We didn't have this when I started, and when you started. Like, there is so much beautiful things happening right now. You are so blessed. You are so spoiled. We all are. So like, we just need to go to work. I'm excited. So let's get it done. I'm so excited.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. I'll send you the recording when I get it all uploaded.
Okay, now it's time for the family call.
I know, I'm so excited. You guys hop on that, and we will see you later. Thank you, Krystin, so much.
Bye, thank you.
Yes, bye, guys. See ya.